This is all you should know about the external oblique muscle. This muscle arises from 8 digitations, one from each lower 8 ribs, just lateral to their anterior extremities. The lower four, the lower four slabs interdigitate with the costal fibers of the latissimus dorsa. So latissimus dorsa, you know what latissimus dorsa is. So basically the lower four fibers interdigitate with latissimus dorsa. And then the upper four fibers, they interdigitate with the serratus anterior muscle. So from its fleshy origin, from lower 8 ribs, just lateral to their anterior extremities, it fans out to a wide insertion. Much of it is aponeurotic. So their insertion is mostly aponeurotic. So muscle have free posterior border. It has a free posterior border. If you think about posteriorly, there's a free posterior border which extends from the 12th rib to its insertion by fleshy fibers into the anterior half of the outer rib of the iliac crest. And you can see it extends from 12th rib to the anterior half of the outer lip of the crest of the iliac. Muscular fibers are replaced by an aponeurosis below a line joining the anterior superior iliac spine to the umbilic. So muscular fibers are replaced with aponeurosis from the line joining from anterior superior iliac spine to the umbilicus and medial to a vertical line drawn from the tip of the ninth costal cartilage. So you can see this is the area where this muscle converts or replaced by the aponeurosis. So if you want to see this, we can see this in an athlete. The aponeurotic fibers directed obliquely downwards and forwards. The aponeurotic fibers are downward and forwards. So like has in pocket position. Interdigitate with each other across in front of the rectus abdominis along the whole length of the linea alba. So there is something in middle which we call this as linea alba. So they interdigitate with each other as they run obliquely downwards and forwards. They interdigitate with each other across this in front of the rectus abdominis along the whole length of the linea alba. So, but we have seen some caloric material have revealed that the aponeurotic fibers are in superficial and deep layers. The fibers in the superficial layer running obliquely upwards and those in the deep layer at right angles downwards. So it is like external and internal intercourse, right? There's a little bit difference. The fibers continue across the midline after, and fibers from the deep layer pass into the superficial layer on the contralateral side of the abdominal wall and vice versa. So the free horizontal upper border of this aponeurosis extends from rib to the xiphoid process. So rib to the xiphoid process, the aponeurosis goes till rib to the xiphoid process. So I can show you the aponeurosis here, but it goes. So it is the only structure in the anterior sheath of the rectus muscle above the costal margin. So above the costal margin, only external oblique is there. As internal oblique and transverse abdominis don't extend after costal margin. So the free posterior border of the muscle forms the anterior bound. The free posterior muscle forms the anterior boundary of the lumbar triangle. So that is flowed in by internal oblique and bounded behind by the anterior border of the latissimus loci and below by the iliac crest. So you can see here how, so inside is the internal oblique, external oblique is from one side, latissimus dorsi forms the other side, anterior border of the latissimus dorsi. So the lower border line between the anterior superior iliac spine and the pubic tubercle forms the inguinal ligament. Let me show you that this is this. So this edge is rolled upwards like a gutter so that it gives origin to form origin to part of the internal oblique as well as transverse abdominis muscles. Okay, so this is like rolled inward to give origin to those muscles. And then the fascial lata of the thigh is attached to this inguinal ligament. So when the thigh is extended, the fascial lata pulls the inguinal ligament downwards into a gentle convexity. Okay. So just above and lateral to this pubic tubercle is an oblique triangular gap called superficial inguinal ring. Let me show you this. Yeah. So it is in the aponeurosis. Base of the gap is the pubic crest. And the margins are crural after it. So base is actually the pubic crest. And margins are crural of the ring. So medial end of the inguinal ligament, the triangular lacunal ligament, extend horizontally. There's something called lacunal ligament as well. It extends from the medial end of the